Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, January 16, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here at Weather Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what the has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather-related question that you might have about the future, though, in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the latest Euro and the latest GFS Supercomputer models, as usual. So keep your eyes focused right here on the timestamp at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. And look out for this that we're seeing on the key on the right. The reds, the oranges, the yellows, the greens represents inches of rainfall. And we're going to be focusing our attention right here across Jamaica as we look for all of this moisture over the next 7 days. Alright, so we can see that as we head into Friday, we see some dots of greens around the island, especially on the north side for sure. We also see some dots of greens across the southwestern Caribbean to the southern and eastern Caribbean. We know all of that is representative of some amount of moisture, maybe up to 1 inch or a bit more. We also see some moisture right here across southern Florida. Heading into Saturday, we don't have much moisture across Jamaica. We see white. We do, however, see some moisture across southeastern US to the east of Florida, the southwestern Caribbean to the south of Hispaniola, into portion of the Leeward Islands. Heading into Sunday, we see some moisture across the waters to the south of Jamaica, across eastern Jamaica as well. Very interesting. We'll see exactly what happens on Sunday. Either way, we see that by the end of the day, let's go back a bit to the end of the day on Sunday, because we saw that the moisture started to take over the entire island by 18D, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday. We also see a lot of moisture associated with the frontal system right here off the east coast of the US, stretching down into Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. Very interesting. We'll see exactly what unfolds when we take a look at the GFS. Heading into Monday, we see some moisture right here between the Yucatan and western Cuba, some moisture to the south of Jamaica, some moisture across the southern and the eastern Caribbean. Tuesday, definitely have a lot of moisture across the waters to the south of Hispaniola into the eastern Caribbean. A lot of moisture as well across sections of the Gulf of Mexico. Very interesting for the dry season. Some of this moisture heading into Florida. A lot of moisture at that for Wednesday, January 22. By the way, look at this. We also see some moisture coming into portion of southern and eastern parishes for sure. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. And we see that by the end of the next 7 days, what we're seeing is that we have some moisture across the waters of the western Caribbean into Belize, northern Honduras, the waters to the east of Nicaragua, as well as affecting Nicaragua, Honduras, and Panama. We also see some moisture across the ABC Islands, the northeastern Caribbean as well. Even some dots of greens represent moisture across eastern Jamaica. Let us see what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest GFS model. Alright, so we can see that as we head into Friday, we have some moisture across the southern portions of Florida, some moisture across the southwestern Caribbean, some moisture to the north of Colombia, affecting the ABC Islands into portion of the eastern Caribbean. Let's see what's happening as we head into Saturday. Alright, so as we head into Saturday, some moisture across southern US to the east of Florida. Still have that moisture across the southwestern Caribbean, the southern, south central and the eastern parishes, eastern Caribbean that is. Heading into Sunday, not much change. The moisture is starting to extend into Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, something similar to what the Euro was showing. We also see some moisture stretching across sections of northern and western parishes by 00 on Monday, which is actually 7 p.m. on Sunday. Kind of similar to what the Euro was showing for Sunday. Very interesting. Heading into Monday, we see some moisture across the Western Caribbean, some moisture across the south, well, to the south of Jamaica, the southeastern Caribbean to the eastern Caribbean right there. Tuesday, we see a lot of moisture across the Gulf, as well as into Florida, the southwestern, central, and eastern Caribbean right there. We also see that as we head into Wednesday, 18th, and Wednesday is actually 1 p.m. We see that moisture stretching all the way from the east coast of the US, well, off the east coast of the US, all the way down into portions of Florida, the Bahamas, sections of Cuba, sections of the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean, the Southwestern Caribbean right there. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours, and we're going to be making some comparisons to what the euro was showing. So clearly we see that moisture that's going to be affecting portion of Central America, the Southwestern Caribbean, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. We also see some moisture across eastern Jamaica, more so northeastern Jamaica on the GFS, more so eastern Jamaica on the euro. We also see that moisture into the ABC Islands, section of Trinidad and Tobago, the Leeward Islands. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast, we see that this is the most colorful it has been all month. The next 7 days definitely showing moisture across most of the Caribbean. We see the yellows into the oranges into the reds represents anywhere from 0.3 of an inch of rainfall all the way up to an inch of rainfall across most of the Caribbean, well, most of the eastern to the south, central, and western Caribbean. Not so much the greater Antilles, including Cuba, Hispaniola, and Jamaica at all. But clearly we see that the most in the way for rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing sections of Florida, western Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. We also see a lot of rainfall expected across Belize, Guatemala, northwestern Honduras, southeastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, sections of western Venezuela, even section of the eastern Caribbean near Guadeloupe, Dominica, and Martinique. And we know that those areas are going to be receiving the most in the way of rainfall because we're seeing more of the dark reds that represent up to 2 inches of rainfall. We're seeing the purples into the pinks that represents 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And we're seeing the peach colors representing anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. And we're not only seeing that on the latest Euro accumulated precipitation forecast, but even the latest GFS is showing that the brunt of the rainfall should be across those very areas that are circled, especially right here to the west of Florida, especially right here across section of Central America, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. And we also see that the southeastern Caribbean is going to be very wet as well, according to this latest run of the GFS. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way. In terms of Jamaica's accumulated precipitation forecast over the next 7 days, we see now that it's not only northern parishes that are shaded. We're starting to get in on some of these blue colors across section of southern Jamaica too. So who knows, we might just start getting in on some rainfall again sometime within the next 7 days. Not sure exactly when. I'll definitely be here to keep you posted every day with when the rainfall is expected. Either way, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Thursday, January 23, 2025. And the main takeaway from this is that the most in the way for rainfall, as we know, is represented by the dark blues into the greens. That represents anywhere from 10 all the way up to maybe 50, maybe 20 millimeters of rainfall. And we can clearly see that the most in the way for rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing section of eastern parishes. We're talking about Portland, St. Thomas. We see Portland, even into St. Thomas, getting up to 31 millimeters of rainfall. And the GFS not showing that much, maybe all the way up to maybe 15, 20 millimeters of rainfall at most. Either way, whatever happens in terms of the rainfall, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted on our other social media platforms. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a frontal system right here to the northeast of the Bahamas. We can also see another frontal system right here to the east of that frontal system, stretching all the way down into portions of the Dominican Republic. And to the southeast of that frontal system, we have the broken orange lines right here associated with a trough, stretching all the way into the Leeward Islands, all the way down to the north of the ABC Islands, right here over into the north of Colombia. And we know we have some ridges of high pressure up here that are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region all through to the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely make out all of these entities. First of all, we see the clouds associated with that first frontal system right here, and the other frontal system to the south and east of it, all the way right here, stretching down to the Dominican Republic. And we can make out the trough clouds right here, stretching all the way down to the north of the ABC Islands, right here to the north of Colombia, as we saw on the surface map for sure. And we know we definitely have some moisture passing through the Leeward Islands as we speak. We also have some moisture associated with another frontal system right here across the waters of the Gulf of Mexico into Florida and the western portions of Cuba. And we already saw the rainfall forecast maps showing that you are getting a lot of rainfall, and it has already begun. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. Well, this is supposed to be for today. Let's see if I can find today. Yeah, here we go. So the weather for today, Thursday, January 16, 2025. So if you remember yesterday's video, more emphasis was placed on northern parishes. Excuse me. Especially considering that we were still getting in on that northeasterly kind of flow, so maybe some condensation, maybe some relief rainfall for northeastern parishes. But boy, these days are bone dry, especially with the dry air across the Atlantic in general. Either way, we know in northern parishes we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And what ended up happening? Although no post was made on our other social media platform today because of the lack of anything taking place, we can see that the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down definitely was showing that northeasterly flow, bringing some clouds coming into section of Portland and St. Mary, some of which was spilling into section of St. Anne. Some of these clouds might have brought in some maybe isolated light showers, if not just overcast skies with some of those strong winds. If you live in Portland or St. Mary, feel free to confirm for us. Let us know what the weather has been like in your area. But clearly, the rest of the island was definitely not receiving much of anything at all. From St. Thomas all the way over to Westmoreland. From Western St. Anne all the way over to Hanover as well. And even the infrared close-up satellite images are confirming this. We don't see any high code cloud tops, any cumulonimbus clouds as represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, blacks, grays, purples at all. Definitely dry times right now. Dry season is in full swing. And as such, the bushfire season is going to be in full swing. So the lack of rainfall, the dry air, the windy conditions, especially on the north coast, pushing down into the south coast, we're going to see a lot of bushfires even more. And the peak of the bushfire season is in the month of February. We're getting there. It's only a matter of time before we're hearing the fire trucks every single day, every second. Boy, we just hope that we get some rainfall in the dry season to not really exacerbate what's usually expected. If we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel right here, showing the beautiful sunny day that the flat bridge was having. At 3:24 p.m. we can see people in their vehicles going about their business. The rear cobra definitely chilling, and we're grateful for that. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube, especially considering that they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall today. Clearly across the very areas that we had the clouds. Not really sure if it's 100% accurate. That's why I'm asking if anybody could confirm for us. Let us know if you got in on some isolated shores, or was it just the cloud cover that we were seeing? Are we mistaken? Are we mistaken in general? Either way, this rainfall map for the past 24 hours is showing some slight purples, even into some dark purples that represent millimeters of rainfall that affected section of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, especially Portland all the way up into the hills and mountains. Please confirm for us if that actually took place. Reloading the latest infrared satellite imagery from the Weather Nerds website. to see what's happening right now. The latest imagery is as of 0025 UTC, which is actually 7:25 p.m. So this just came out 10 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:35 p.m. right now. We can see that there's not much of anything taking place across the island. No cloud cover, no rainfall, nothing of the sort at all. And the Cuban Doppler radar imagery confirms this as well. The latest Cuban Doppler radar image is as of 7:30 p.m. So that just came out 5 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:35 p.m. right now. Don't see much of anything in terms of rainfall across Jamaica. But if you look right here to the south of eastern Cuba, we do see some slight green, some slight blues, represent some isolated showers as we speak. And if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, we can even make out some of that moisture right here to the south of eastern Cuba, just like what we saw on the Cuban Doppler radar. But we don't see much of anything across western Haiti or northeastern Jamaica right now. Taking a look at the Cayman radar, you can see that we don't have much of anything across the Cayman Islands, nothing across the waters of southern Cuba or western Jamaica as we speak. But if we take a look right now at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing crossroads in St. Andrew, we can see people walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles, people in the buses going about their business for sure on this very fair Thursday evening. Not much in the way of bad weather, no windy conditions, no cloudy conditions, no rainfall at all. Definitely a sunny day in the dry season. Well, heading into a fair night into the dry season. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can say we have 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18D on Friday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Friday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in a mixture of gray as well as some slight yellow colors. That represents average to slightly above average temperatures, and we know the average temperature for the month of January across Jamaica is around 86.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's around 30.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 31 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Friday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from the MyJPS Online's Twitter page. We know we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages, it can definitely make the heat even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way tomorrow, Friday, January 17, 2025. We're talking about Nullis to Riversdale, Hammock, Troja, and the environs in St. Catherine from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have Bushy Park from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Spring Village from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We have Silver Sun Estate in St. Catherine as well from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And finally, we have Sunning Hill, Erie Castle, Port Morant, Bath and environs, Water Valley in St. Thomas for 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Either way, if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, we have some tips here to beat the heat as usual. When outside, seek shade. It states here, eat fresh. Try eating cold food such as salads and fruits. Rest. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak. Take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated. Even if you're not thirsty, drink lots of water throughout the day. Put away the sugar drinks. Drink lots of water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, as stated, the dry air is dominating the entire Atlantic, all the way from Africa across the main development region into the Caribbean, into the Gulf of Mexico. We know the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, reds, whites within those reds. The dry air is definitely making it hard for it to rain these days for sure. But we're indeed grateful that we're not seeing much in the way of Saharan dust. This is the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday, and we can see some slight browns represent the Saharan dust right here, across sections of the main development region closer to Africa can make it out with the slight brown colors, but we're indeed grateful that we're not seeing that vigorous dark brown color that we know means very hazy skies, not to mention triggering some amount of respiratory illnesses in some people. So we're grateful that North America, the Bahamas, Central America, the Caribbean, and Northern South America are all in the clear. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing some of the light shades of blues across the Western Caribbean, into the dark shades of blues, even some slight purples, represents anywhere from 0.5 of a meter wave height all the way up to 2 meter wave height. Let us see the waters to the north of Jamaica, 1.1 meter wave height, waters to the south of Jamaica, 1.2 meter wave height, and that's because of the winds that are going to be expected. We clearly see that across the Caribbean, more of an east-northeasterly flow pushing all the way down into the southwestern Caribbean. We see it averaging anywhere from 10 all the way to 25 knots, especially right here to the south of Hispaniola, to the north of Colombia, where we have those yellow colors. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding this wind forecast, we can see what's expected. It looks like it's gonna be more of an easterly kind of look, kind of looks northeasterly on the north coast curving westward. We also see the wind coming in here from the east on the south coast. We also see that there's gonna be the least amount of winds right here across inland areas of some central and western parishes. Very interesting. If we didn't have all of this dry air, we could, get some daytime heating, afternoon rainfall across those areas circled. But boy, these days, afternoon rainfall is a thing of the past. Seems like we're gonna be having to wait for April, May before we get that back. Either way, whatever happens over the next couple of months, I'll keep you posted. We're back with that upper level flow from the southwest, however. So, we won't even notice that because we don't even have any high cirrus clouds blowing off in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast for tomorrow, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 8 a.m. on Friday. And we can clearly see that we have some kind of agreement regarding where the blues represent rainfall should be. The Euro is showing some of it across the waters to the north of Jamaica, some of it also affecting land, maybe St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland. The GFS is more inclined to have all of those blues out to sea, but who knows, maybe some of it might just get onto land for sure, just like what the Euro was showing. So whatever happens at 8 a.m., I'll definitely keep you posted on our other platforms. Let's see if we actually get some 8 a.m. rainfall. Then by 3 p.m. now, look at this. Very interesting. We see some blues represent rainfall to the southeast of the island. Well, on the GFS, we see most of it to the southeast of the island. The Euro not only has it to the south of or southeast of the island, but some of it even across eastern Jamaica into central and portion of western Jamaica too. Very interesting for an afternoon forecast. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, as of right now, the forecast is for morning rainfall, possibly across northern parishes, and then afternoon rainfall, possible if not overcast skies, across sections of some central and eastern parishes. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast, we can see that over the next 7 days, we have some greens that represent rainfall across sections of the northeast, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland. That's basically it. The Euro going all the way up to 0.12 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS all the way up to 0.08 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see exactly what happens. I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Either way, the lack of rainfall across the island is normal for this time of year. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 20 millimeters of rainfall for the month of January. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 3 inches of rainfall. That's about 75 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like her to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of January or for the entire year in terms of rainfall, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice little graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that rainfall is recorded on the rain gauge, and 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some moisture passing through the Leeward Islands, section of the Windward Islands too, especially considering that we have a trough passing through the ear. A lot of moisture passing to the north of the ABC Islands, to the north of Colombia, pushing towards the southwest. We also see the moisture associated with that frontal system heading into a portion of the Dominican Republic, northern Haiti, section of Cuba, the Bahamas, southern Florida, western Cuba getting in some of the moisture too. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening over there. Clearly, we don't see anything happening across the US or British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, or Dominican Republic. But we do see some isolated shores in and around sections of the northeastern Caribbean, maybe to the east of Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we can definitely see the blues and the greens are representing where from maybe the light to moderate rainfall for sure. We see that moisture currently coming into section of Martinique as we speak. So too section of St. Lucia getting on some rainfall too. Section of St. Vincent at the Grenadines getting on some moderate, even some slightly heavy rainfall over there. Some of this might even end up in the section of Grenada, if not already. We also see some moisture coming into portion of Tobago, already falling earlier in portion of Tobago, so more definitely on its way. And some of this could spill into the section of Trinidad too. And if we take a look at the weather wave Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall passing to the north of the ABC Islands. We see some rainfall right here to the east of southeastern Nicaragua. We also see that rainfall associated with that frontal system pushing from west to east into section of southern Florida, the Bahamas, northwestern Cuba as well. And regarding where the rainfall is expected in the next 24 hours, both maps here from the year and the GFS are showing all the rainfall expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. And you can clearly see that the most in the way of rainfall should be where we have the oranges, the reds, and clearly we see that most of it should be right here across southern Florida, maybe the northern Bahamas, sections of southeastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, section of Colombia, western Venezuela. You also see some moisture in surface section of the ABC Islands, section of the southeastern Caribbean too, from Trinidad and Tobago northward, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, maybe sections of the Leeward Islands too, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, sections of maybe northern Haiti, the far eastern tip of Cuba, section of the Dominican Republic getting on some of the action too. Let's scroll down to the northern portion of South America. We also see some rainfall right here across sections of French Guiana. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.